like encountered before. It's not like a social media or anything. So something new like this. And I see it in my own life, how much it impacts my life, in a good way. And yeah, and I can only imagine how that actually can change a lot of other people's lives. So yeah, I think this is where the AI, robotics, all the LLM models, kalau misal people know about these large language model, it's basically what's currently being talked about everywhere.
Oke, oke. Thank you, Kak Marisa. Kak Rifan, sama nggak di Indonesia?
I guess sama sih ya kalau dilihat sekarang landscape dari tech startup, tech company memang mulai shift ke AI juga ya. Tapi aku ngelihatnya sebenarnya di industri itu selalu ada dua sisi. Yang pertama opportunity, yang kedua risk gitu. Nah, opportunity itu apa yang dibilang sama Morisa tadi in terms of AI. Mungkin kalau uh, larger scope, sekarang yang makin populer ya unstructured data gitu kalau kita ngomongin data gitu. Jadi ya kayak LLM dan segala macam itu produk dari unstructured data yang bisa kita gather insight-nya gitu ya. Jadi kayak kita ngomongin image yang sebelum mungkin kayak OCR dan segala macam udah agak lewat gitu, tapi sebenarnya hype-nya masih ada lah ya gitu. Terus juga video gitu ya, dan lain sebagainya gitu. Itu di sisi opportunity. Tapi kalau dari sisi risk, aku ngelihatnya kayak hal-hal terkait dengan security, terkait dengan governance, itu mulai diperhatikan juga gitu ya, karena ibarat kita naik mobil gitu ya. Kalau misalnya kita kejar opportunity terus ngebut gitu, ya pasti akan berbahaya gitu ya, bisa tabrakan, kecelakaan dan segala macam. Ya, di poin di risk management governance ini yang menjaga gitu ya supaya teknologi itu tidak ingin kebablasan gitu ya dan bisa ada koridor-koridor untuk menjaganya gitu.
Oke, oke. Jadi Gen AI lah ya, yang lagi hot sekarang berarti kan menurut
Ya,
Kak Marisa dan Kak Rifan. Um, Interesting. Uh, Soalnya aku kerja di venture capital dan kayak di venture capital juga kita lagi berbicara banyak terkait dengan Gen AI. My partner said it's intellectually stimulating, but whether we can mobilize investments there is yet remain to be seen, right? So, Kamorisa, are you more of a ChatGPT person or are you more of a Bard person?
um I have not personally used a lot Bard as I am with ChatGPT, so I think I'm not a good person. I will have biases there, but yeah. And so far, even ChatGPT, I have not used the 4 or 4 plus. I only use the 3.5. So yeah, I think I'm good with ChatGPT so far. So doesn't doesn't have the need to move towards other platform. Maybe it's good to compare. Yeah, like speaking of which, when you say like Gen AI or generative AI, we can think of this black box tool that actually can, create whatever we want out of like a single desire. Like, oh, this is actually, for example, I use a trip planning kayak, oh, aku mau ke Eropa kayak di kota ini dan aku lebih mau um, ke tempat yang misalnya artsy atau very much culture, nggak terlalu hiking atau yang susah-susah gitu. Uh, can you give me like a plan from this date to this date, and I want 5 cities, and I will land here, I will depart here. Boom, langsung gitu kan. Dan kayak sebenarnya bertahun-tahun tuh aku udah mikir kayak there has to be an app that can make Google search better, karena Google search cuma ngasih tahu tapi kitanya yang ngeplan kan. Dan dengan ChatGPT this is all possible in a single sentence, and I will have that right away. Jadi planningku yang biasanya kayak 2 days only become like 2 hours. So this is something kayak Gen AI is very powerful this way, but I think what I want to mention is like we need to be able to understand why this is important. And the reason why is because AI, big data are so tightly interwoven in our day-to-day lives. So understanding where we are today and where this industry is going is very, very crucial. Like very, very important to know what to use, what not to use. Yang tadi dibilang antara opportunity and risk, this gives us information about a trade-off between, should we go for this opportunity given this risk? I think that will make us rely on AI in a safe and healthy way. Dan mungkin aku mau ngasih contoh kayak how this is interwoven in our daily life dari retail industry. Kita beli baju atau di sini Amazon, kalau di Indo Tokopedia, Gojek, we rely a lot of our day-to-day needs on these tech platforms like GoFood and like anything. Like it helps us with our like personal shopping experiences, recommendations of products. Terus yang di sisi automotive, which is where I am, it actually, AI robots work really work well when it comes to manufacturing, supply chain technology. Of Gen AI is still like far in terms of this, but this is already like an AI application that we often see. Terus kayak dari healthcare, analyzing this like large amount of data, terus identify patterns, identify like, anomalies in detecting stroke or detecting cancer, and urban development, smart city. So I think all of this is basically like a reminder of like, yes, as we discuss the development of AI, we need to understand why we want to be able to discuss this or understand it in a deeper level. So I think that's sort of like what I want to share.
Okay, thank you, Kamorisa. So, Karifan, let me turn back to you, right? You work in e-Fishery. It's a aquatech startup that is booming, valued at about $1 billion. Talk about how you or like the company is trying to incorporate Gen AI into its business operations. Because di level personal banyak banget. Karena aku di venture juga kita ngobrol banyak sama portfolio companies kita. Dan mereka udah mulai consider nih. Cuman kebanyakan memang masih pada personal level masing-masing employee-nya gitu kan. How about you as a company, e-Fishery? Are you trying to incorporate Gen AI into your operations? I think in terms of AI, I think your company has incorporated a lot, like IoT as well. Tapi kalau Gen AI, how is your company doing on that? Is your company thinking to incorporate Gen AI into its operations? And if yes, then how?
Ya. Bisa dibilang Gen AI ini kan juga sesuatu yang baru ya di industri di mana-mana gitu. Kita sebenarnya juga udah bikin beberapa produk baik untuk farmers kita ya maupun internal tim kita gitu. Nah, konteksnya itu lebih ke sebagai smart assistant gitu ya. Gitu. Jadi aquatech gitu atau aquaculture in general, it's a very traditional business gitu. Yang diran sama petani gitu, baik itu petani ikan maupun petani udang. Yang kita coba bridging di sini sekarang fokusnya tetap ke productivity gitu ya. Gimana caranya dengan mungkin modal yang sama dia bisa dapat productivity yang lebih tinggi lagi dari sebelumnya gitu ya, sehingga dia bisa meningkat gitu taraf hidupnya gitu. Nah, tapi spesifik ke Gen AI kita memang udah bikin gitu ya, tapi di sisi adoptionnya masih early phase gitu, di mana petani gitu bisa chat langsung gitu dengan kayak semacam KMS kita gitu. Jadi kayak KMS kita pull ke dalam si LLM itu gitu. Habis itu mereka akan bisa smartly answered gitu ya, dan dalam bahasa Indonesia gitu ya. Misalkan simply ada orang baru gitu ya, nah mau boleh berbudidaya dan mereka nggak tahu cara gimana berbudidaya lele misalkan atau nila misalkan ya. Nah ya mereka bisa simply chat gitu bahwa oh cara budidaya ikan yang basic itu seperti ini. Terus nanti setelah ini achieve itu akan lanjut ke sini ke sini ke sini. Kebutuhannya A, B, C dan segala macam itu udah bisa kita provide gitu ya. Nah, memang tapi dalam adoptionnya itu yang lagi kita pikirin dan gimana caranya teknologi itu menjadi murah juga karena ini yang PR yang paling penting juga ya di e-Fishery gitu. Kita nggak bisa menjual teknologi yang akhirnya membebankan petani kita ya dari sisi cost gitu. Dan kalau dari sisi internal, sesimpel bahwa kita sekarang kayak ya bayangin sekarang kita udah ada ribuan karyawan di Fishery gitu, learning about specific regulation, specific apa ya FAQ lah ya terkait dengan misalkan ke HR-an gitu ya. Nah itu kita udah bikin semacam chatbotnya gitu ya buat buat karyawan kita gitu ya. Jadi ada di dua hal sih yang kita bikin ya, baik untuk customer ataupun di internal kita buat karyawan. Gitu.
Okay, so it's client services and also human resources
Yeah.
purposes. Okay, I want to push the envelope a little bit more. In the next 5 years, what can Gen AI do to a fishery?
Yeah, I think mungkin pretty much dari yang aku bilang tadi gitu ya. Kita melihat bahwa ini sebenarnya concern ya beberapa tahun belakangan, tapi kita melihat mulai ada harapan di mana mulai sedikit ya di sebelum tahun 2020 tuh makin sedikit anak muda yang mau berbudidaya gitu. Padahal eh, apa ya kita sebagai manusia tuh kan butuh makanan gitu ya. Tapi anak mudanya nggak ada yang mau bertani lagi misalkan. Anak mudanya nggak ada yang mau misalkan berbudidaya ikan jadi nelayan dan segala macam. Dan itu concerning gitu di kemanusiaan gitu. Nah tapi dengan ada e-Fishery kemarin mulai banyak yang tertarik gitu karena oh ada tech company yang bisa membantu saya gitu. Jadi banyak yang resign gitu misalkan tadinya kerja di kota gitu tapi balik lagi nge iniin kolam bapaknya misalkan gitu ya ngegedein kolam bapaknya tapi dengan approach mereka sendiri gitu sebagai anak muda yang mungkin secara tech apa ya awareness lebih tinggi gitu. Nah ngomongin 5 tahun lagi menurut aku sih banyak banget sih yang bisa di-adopt gitu secara teknologi gitu baik di sisi yang Gen AI tadi maupun dari sisi IoT gitu ya kayak IoT sendiri kita udah develop beberapa IoT capabilities di petani gitu ya jadi kayak misalkan sebelumnya petani itu khususnya dari petani udang ya susah untuk mendapatkan data terkait dengan air mereka gitu, water quality mereka, pH-nya berapa, biomass-nya apa kayak planktonnya berapa dan segala macam. Tapi dengan adanya teknologi yang kita bikin itu udah bisa di-track gitu tiap hari gitu. Jadi momok yang paling besar dari pembudidayaan ikan dan udang ini sebenarnya kan penyakit gitu ya. Jadi ketika kita mulai melihat kayak ada sesuatu yang mungkin kayak aneh gitu ya dari sisi datanya oh ini benar-benar nggak benar kolam dan segala macam itu bisa kita ini ya bisa kita apa ya lakukan treatment gitu sehingga productivity-nya dia naik gitu dan menurut aku sih 5 tahun ke depan bakal dari sisi IoT dari sisi adoption di Gen AI tadi bakal makin luas apalagi dengan petani muda itu pembudidaya muda yang makin berkembang.
Okay, terima kasih Kak Rifan. Now, I'd like to return to Kak Morisa. How about in your industry, Kak? You talk about how you used it in personal level and also how in other sectors, kayak in healthcare, gitu, Gen AI bisa dipakai. But how about in your industry? Does Gen AI give a lot of impact in what you're doing now? And if not, then what other tech advancements are hot and, impacting your industry greatly today?
Yeah, I think no, that's actually a really good question. That there's a lot of opportunities where Gen AI can reduce inefficiency within any industry, and for the world of like robotics, or because this is where basically in the world of robotics, simulation testing is very, very important. So whenever a software is released out there, in this case is a car. Jadi Cruise itu adalah startup robotaksi yang fokusnya di beberapa kota di US, Dubai, Jepang so far. Dan Gen AI can, untuk sisi testing, testing is a big opportunity in a way that kita bisa deploy anything and scale it out without ever sending a car to another city. Kita bisa ngomong kayak, okay, mau misal di Indo gitu, and we will simulate the world in what Jakarta looks like and everything will just be in your computer. Dan dari situ kita masukin an asset, a simulation asset, which is a car or pedestrians, anything there, and then the sensors in the virtual world actually will just take it in as it is, and this is where Gen AI is thriving at. Another thing, from the deployment point of view, we can just literally reduce inefficiency by just talking to my computer like, hey, make me this type of test. I want to kayak sekarang kita kan harus kayak select apa, kayak kita harus query ke big data somewhere. We now just think about the most simplest application. You just talk like you talk to a friend. Tolong dong ambilin data, pokoknya maunya gini. You don't even think about the syntax at this point. You don't even think about select from where query. You can just talk to it and then it will give you all the data you need and all the analysis of like, oh, this is the trend I'm seeing. By the way, this is a detection of like the some outliers here and there. So this kind of world is what I'm seeing in the next like 5 years. And it basically will remove a lot of I hope my job is not going to be removed, but I think AI in some ways has this risk of job displacement, and that's something that we all are like aware of, hopefully. So yeah, that's sort of where I see things go.
Right. Maybe if you can expand for just like 30 seconds, right, on job displacements, AI replacing humans. How do you see it moving forward? Do you think humans will be obsolete moving forward?
Yeah. I read McKinsey stats before where it estimates that about 23 million jobs will be in Indonesia. 23 juta jobs will be replaced by automation by 2030. That's a lot of jobs. And where do these people go then? I think there is an importance of educating the younger generations as early as possible, especially the underprivileged people, to embrace technology better, meaning the use of a computer or the use of internet. This will get them like started, because job displacement is not going to be overnight. It's going to take decades. It's going to take like 50 years, or even for any type of intense AI, like the Gen AI, for example. So I think, within those like decades, it's important for the government to really focus on like kayak memberi opportunities and tools for the public to be to embrace technology better.
Right. Karifan, how about in e-Fishery? You talked about risks, so probably expand on the risks and how do you see sebenarnya Gen AI ini nanti kalau di e-Fishery apakah akan lebih membantu manusia atau akan lebih mendisplace manusia dari I don't know dari agriculture, because you talked about how young people are less interested in jumping in to the agriculture sector, right? So talk about that.
Nah, ya, kalau aku ngelihatnya dua hal ya mengenai Gen AI ini. Yang pertama adalah opportunity gitu, seperti yang aku bilang tadi. Ini membuat younger generation lebih tertarik dengan industri-industri yang dianggap sebagai tradisional sebelumnya dan nggak keren gitu ya. Ternyata industri ini bisa jadi keren juga gitu. Misalkan di sektor aquaculture atau agribusiness gitu. Nah, tapi di sisi lain memang Gen AI ini bisa nge-improve productivity sih dan mereduce efisiensi. Ini efisiensi juga benar yang dibilang Morisa tadi gitu ya. Dan tapi aku sebenarnya selalu percaya sih human generation itu sudah berkali-kali dites dengan revolusi industri, misalkan revolusi industri pertama ditemukannya mesin uap, listrik dan segala macam. Tapi Indian itu kan sebenarnya nge-replace job yang ada juga kan sebelumnya gitu. Nah tapi sekarang bedanya itu di dunia internet gitu. Dan setuju juga ini masih ada waktu gitu ya, nggak bakal terjadi overnight gitu karena technology adoption itu juga bukan sesuatu yang mungkin gampang dilakukan di Jakarta gitu, tapi di daerah lain di rural area itu bakal lebih takes time ya. Dan di situ sebenarnya masih punya waktu gitu ya anak-anak muda di sana gitu ya, orang-orang di sana untuk bisa beradaptasi ke sana gitu. Tapi ya, jadi in general aku sebenarnya lumayan positif gitu. Ini akan membantu mereduce inefficiency, tapi juga akan mungkin shifting gitu ya, yang tadinya fokusnya lebih ke manual, sekarang fokusnya lebih ke automation dan manusia tuh bisa berdampingan di sana.
Oke, oke. So now mungkin sebelum kita ke Q&A, aku mau tutup dengan satu pertanyaan deh. So Kak Morisa, what would be your advice if like anak muda Indonesia tanya ke Kak Morisa yang bersekolah dan bekerja di Amerika gitu ya dan ada di dunia tech. Anak Indonesia yang masih muda yang lagi masih cari sekolah, mereka harusnya belajar apa sih? Do they should they learn about tech? Should they learn about engineering? Should they learn about public policy, economics, data science? Apa sih?
Yeah, my suggestion is always follow your curiosity. Whatever that is, follow it. Kayak yes, of course it's important to I think like understand the need of the world, but there's a lot of things transferable in you know, like I think in the world, like if you know, if we're talking about if the audience here is particularly interested in tech, I would also say that I agree with what Refund mentioned in the beginning, where you know his skills before is transferable, you know, from finance through now like cybersecurity. It's the same thing, like studying like math or like computer science or in artificial intelligence. It is going to be applicable in every industry. Like, you know, we mentioned about healthcare, maybe VC as well, finance, you know, like robots, like everything needs AI. So yeah, I think whatever you are most curious about, I think that's a more important question to ask yourself, because if you're not interested, then you're not going to do well in that. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. Tarifan?
Ya, menurut aku mungkin having the right mindset ya gitu. Jadi mungkin tadi juga di awal-awal aku udah cerita gitu ya. Banyak sebenarnya yang sebelumnya aku nggak bisa dan sebenarnya juga aku nggak ngerti sama sekali ya soal cyber security. Aku having zero knowledge di situ gitu. Tapi aku menyadari bahwa semua itu bisa dipelajari gitu ya. Semua itu bisa dipelajari dan semua itu bisa berproses gitu. Jadi itu aja sih menurut aku cukup insya Allah bisa bisa inilah ya bisa bisa berkembang dengan curiosity yang dibilang sama Morisa tadi.
Oke, oke, thank you. Uh, jadi mungkin aku akan masuk ke pertanyaan karena udah ada beberapa pertanyaan. Yang pertama dari Bella, untuk Karifan dan Kak Morisa, apakah ada drawbacks selama proses perjalanan karir di bidang tech? Jadi aku mungkin mulai dari Karifan dulu.
Oke, drawbacks mungkin kayak blocker gitu ya maksudnya.
Drawbacks
Oke.
is like mungkin tantangan.
Oh ya tantangan. Oke. Um, menurut aku adalah ini sih kayak apa ya ketika menemukan suatu hal yang baru dan mulai belajar dari nol itu ya. Mungkin eh, di data analytics dan aku kebetulan pindah-pindah industri gitu dan mulai belajar domain baru dari nol itu tantangan yang cukup besar gitu menurut aku gitu dan itu sebenarnya cuma dibutuhkan semangat aja sih jadi bersemangat gimana caranya semua hal yang tadi aku bilang semua hal itu kemudian bisa dipelajari gitu. Nah, tapi ketika kamu udah ketemu sparks-nya, ketika kamu udah ketemu kayak zero to one-nya gitu, untuk scale dari one to hundred, mungkin akan lebih mudah kalau menurut aku ya.
Oke, Kak Morisa?
Yeah, I think that's a good question to Bella. For me, definitely lack of role models. I started my journey actually as an, like student studying industrial engineering because I found industrial engineering had the most number of women, which is 30%. And if I go to mechanical, aerospace, even computer science at the time, this was way back like 10 years ago or 12, um, it was like very low, like 10-15%. Like I came to electrical engineering course, only two girls, me and this other girl out of like 35 men. Even until now in my job, oftentimes I'm the only girl in a meeting full of men. That this is super normal, but over time I've worked through it. Took me 10 years to really embrace engineering, or the fact that I am an engineer. It was really, really hard. Definitely that's the biggest drawback. Lack of role model. In some sense it probably, because you can't see something, you can't dream enough, or like you can't be what you can't see. So I think that's yeah, that's why I'm here, and I hope I can tell people that it is possible to yeah, to work in something even though you're like a minority.
Okay, thank you. So next question is from Alpha. Saya melihat bahwa produk digital dengan fitur AI semakin banyak bermunculan. Sebagai seorang UI UX designer, apa saja ilmu terkait AI yang perlu dipelajari untuk berkontribusi dalam development AI products, human AI interactions? Baiknya mulai dari mana dan perlu belajar sejauh apa? I'll start with Karifan.
Oke, thank you Alfa pertanyaannya. Menurutku mungkin tergantung ya apa yang mau kamu kejar gitu. Apakah kamu pengen kejar ke let's say kerja di AI company gitu ya. Kalau misalkan pengen kerja di AI company kamu harus mengerti sih in general walaupun apapun role UI UX, product manager, apapun kamu harus mengerti bagaimana AI itu bekerja gitu ya. Dan AI itu yang nggak bisa di develop sendiri pasti ada manusia yang di belakang yang membuatnya ya dan salah satunya ya UI UX itu menjadi role yang penting gitu untuk membuat AI itu ramah gitu ya, user friendly gitu. Tapi kalau misalkan in general sebagai UI UX, kamu mau kerja dimanapun, AI itu mungkin khususnya Gen AI tadi ya sebenarnya membantu kamu dari sisi productivity gitu ya. Jadi learn to be a good user gitu ya, mengerti apa yang bisa eh, diefisienkan gitu dengan AI tadi itu akan berimpact bagus juga sih untuk productivity kamu.
Okay, thank you, Kak. Kak Marisa?
Yeah, where to start? Typically, I think it's useful to understand the high level picture. Like I heard of a very good advice before, that in any type of career, we're sort of like building this T. So T as in like you have this breadth and you have a depth. In AI is basically like a regression. You can call it an AI, like regression. But what does that mean? So I think understanding the high level pipeline. So meaning there's a modeling, training, testing, there's a data pipeline, there's a machine that has all your data in it. There is a if you work in UX UI, like you're dealing with the front end a lot, like understanding this particular framework, and then like, oh, which one are you more interested in? Then you can go in, like building the depth of the T, like, oh, I'm more interested in modeling, then yeah, you can just switch to that. But that's also with the mindset like, oh, tying it back to the high level view of I'm doing this as part of like the AI. And yeah, I think that's definitely a good career move to try to understand overall. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kak Marisa. I think this is the third question, and I don't know, probably the last question because we haven't received more. Pertanyaannya dari Agnes. Pertanyaannya adalah, I work in public policy and law development. What would you suggest for me? What course, skill, or education would you suggest for her so that she can keep up to date with technological development and mainstreaming them in her work? Aku mulai dari Kak Rifan deh.
Oke, ya, thank you. Sebenarnya luas sekali ya. Kalau menurut aku, yang pertama dan utama pastinya adalah mendalami kayak core course di domain kamu dulu. Misalkan kamu ya mau di public policy atau di law, itu pahami dulu di situnya karena Indian ya teknologi mungkin akan cuma mempermudah aja ya gitu. Tapi eh, hal-hal yang bisa meningkatkan productivity gitu dan membantu di kerjaan sehari-hari, menurut aku skill terkait dengan data gitu ya, analytics itu menurut aku penggunaannya sangat luas gitu, bahkan mungkin di sisi public policy atau law development gitu. Dan selain itu sebenarnya banyak orang yang mungkin ya, aku ngelihatnya langsung langsung loncat gitu, langsung ke machine learning, langsung ke AI misalkan gitu. Tapi missing part gimana cara kita mengumpulkan data gitu. Jadi kayak foundational dari big data-nya juga itu belum dibangun gitu. Jadi menurut aku sih find a way gimana caranya untuk si big data-nya itu terbentuk dulu gitu. Sehingga nanti mau kemanapun cabangnya, mau ke analytics, mau ke AI dan yang lain sebagainya, itu bisa lebih mudah.
Kak Marisa?
Yeah, I think I personally use to keep me updated with news and new applications of technology. Personally, I'm not even the most informed, even though I work in this space. I always feel like I don't know a lot of things. There is a app called like Morning Brew. It's actually it's not even an app. It's like a subscription, a free subscription to any news related to like technology. And they typically give me, if I want it like every day, or they can give me every week these news. They pick up like the biggest trend, and sometimes it has, public policy. It has different category, what I'm interested in. So I think it would help that way, because seeing examples, oh, these are the trends right now. Oh, maybe I can apply the same thing to my current work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kak Marisa. I received one question from our panitia. They said that it's coming from the registration form. The question is coming from Farrell for Kak Marisa. As someone who previously worked in top global tech companies like Tesla and NASA, what is the best advice can you give to someone who wants to pursue a career in a leading tech company? And as someone who's currently working at Cruise, how many years into the future do you think our automotive systems will be fully autonomous?
Yeah. Okay. First question. I was lucky in certain ways. But again, there's a lot of preparations that were needed. Where you put yourself into. I think there's a lot of factors in why I was able to go to these places. It doesn't mean like I was, smarter than someone else. Definitely not. It was just, a particular opportunity comes up. I had, applied, or, all of these things, but also that particular job function, you prepared, a lot of hard work, and like fail a lot in order to get there. Like I think that's probably my advice. Like that there are so many other companies that I failed. Let's just start with that. So I think it's a good mindset to, let's say if you want to go to a certain company, make sure you have a certain plan. Like, okay, I need to fail a lot, meaning that there are these companies that I plan to go through first before I go through my dream company, for example, things like that, or like a lot of practice in between helps. Definitely. That second question on when exactly we're going to, so Cruise, so Tesla was at L2. So in the autonomous systems, we define the autonomy from level 1 or L1 through L5, level 5, where L1 is like kayak less than cruise control gitu. And then L5 is fully autonomous in across all different, like cities. Where we are today with Cruise is L4. Tesla is like L2, actually defined by the Department of Motor Vehicles in the US. And a lot of this has to do with the technology that we have. Kayak we use LiDAR, we use, the more data that you have, the better it is for the car to understand the world around it. And right now, because we're already at L4, kayak di SF sebenarnya udah jalan sih robot taksi 24 jam, 24/7 without anyone. So yeah, it is already here, but if you ask me when it's going to be deployed in Indonesia, for example, I think that's a different that's a different question, and it will take a while. Soalnya kayak There is this moral question, I think, that's even more important than technological questions. Like one example is, a LiDAR costs very, very expensive, kayak sampai $70,000 gitu. 70,000 buat 1 mil, is it? Yeah, 1 mil easily. 1 miliar rupiah di misal satu car gitu kan. Kalau ditaruh di Indo, kayaknya orang udah langsung kayak, ini malam-malam nggak ada orang, kita copotin aja nih semuanya. Misal ya, ini kayak, so this is sort of like a moral question. A lot of it has to do with culture. So yeah, kayak I think this kind of thing will be a blocker, before technology can even be deployed.
Okay. I don't think we received any more questions. Actually, we do. We have one more, and I think we can spare probably 2 minutes for Marisa to answer this. So the question is from Cassie from Ambon. Marisa, how was your experience as a woman in robotics, and how has it changed you as a person?
Yeah, thanks, Casey. How has it changed me as a person? Aku merasa kayak not only lack of role models, tapi cewek sebenarnya lebih less aggressive for sure. They tend to lowball themselves a lot. For example, mereka misal masuk ke dunia bekerja gitu kan, dunia kerjaan, rata-rata kayak rata-rata misal kita ngomongin di Indonesia, untuk role ini butuh 10 juta sampai 15 juta gitu. Nah, kalau cewek tuh kayaknya ngelihat langsung, kayaknya 10 juta cukup. Padahal level kompetensinya sangat-sangat tinggi gitu. Dan cowok ngelihatnya, pasti 15 juta. Padahal kompetensinya slightly below cewek gitu misal. But this is very, very common. I'm not even kidding. This is everywhere. And this changed me. And, as a person looking at the statistics, and I'm like, you know what? You have to learn how to be aggressive or more aggressive. You cannot lowball yourself. You have to be more confident in everywhere you go. And yeah, I think that's a lot of it that I learned. And yeah, learn to trust yourself a lot more in that way.
Oke, thank you Kak Marisa. Jadi mungkin karena waktunya sudah mendekati jam 11.45, I'd like to thank Kak Marisa and also Kak Rifan for sharing your perspectives. And also I'd like to thank our audience for your questions and active participation during the session. I hope you guys learn as much as I did throughout the session. I hope you guys are inspired by the story shared by Kak Marisa and also Kak Rifan, and also you guys are interested to probably pursue career in tech. Then with that, I'd like to give back the floor to our MC.
Okay, thank you so much, Kak Marisa, Kak Rifan, and Kak Angelo for very insightful session. Basically, this weekend is very fulfilling, yeah. Does anyone agree with my statement? Kayaknya hari ini hari Minggu yang sangat apa ya? Kalau biasa kita bilang kayak daging gitu ya, teman-teman. Pagi-pagi sarapannya sarapan daging gitu. Daging yang nggak biasa dibeli di supermarket kayaknya ya. Nah, um, thank you so much for giving us insight, opinion, and perspective about the situation, about the tech itself dari Kak Morisa, dari Kak Rifan, dan juga Kak Angelo for bridge the discussion. So apart of that, aku sebagai perwakilan Indonesia Mengglobal mengucapkan banyak terima kasih untuk waktunya to allocate your time, your energy, your knowledge uh, di acara Indonesia Mengglobal 11th anniversary di sesi 1 teknologi advancement. Nah, um, nanti sebentar lagi kita mau foto bareng with the all audience. Jadi teman-teman semua bisa prepare buka open cam gitu ya. Tapi mungkin ada yang butuh waktu untuk nyisiran atau cuci muka dulu. Please teman-teman sambil prepare, sambil teman-teman nunggu teman-teman semua prepare open cam. Kita juga pengen memberikan apresiasi kecil-kecilan lah ya untuk our great speakers and moderator. Jadi mungkin pertama dulu dari untuk Kak Morisa, the senior robotic engineer at Cruise, ex-Tesla, ex-NASA, for allocating your time and your insight. We donate you baby coral atas nama Kak Morisa. FYI gitu, baby coralnya tuh ditanam di salah satu daerah di Bali, di Padang Bayi. Mungkin kalau datang ke Bali bisa visit gitu baby coralnya gitu ya. So, mungkin kita bisa foto dulu. Pertama, Kamu Risa dibantu sama Kak Feli ya.
Iya, oke.
Kak Feli yang share sama foto ya.
Iya, ini foto dulu berarti ya.
Mm-mm.
Oke, oke, sebentar. Aku hilangkan semua pinnya dulu.
Oke. Please tell me when you are ready. Karena speakersnya udah siap untuk senyum. Give the best smile.
Hmm, Bentar.
Oke.
Oke, sebentar.
Mm.
Yuk, silakan dihitung mundur aja sama Clarissa ya.
Ya, ini kita foto. Ya udah kita foto speakersnya dulu ya. Atau sertifnya udah di-share belum?
Sertifnya belum?
Oh, belum ya. Udah kita
Ini
foto
foto dulu
bertiga.
aja.
Oke. Bertiga dulu Kak Marisa, Karifan, dan Kak Angelo. 1, 2, 3. Oke?
Oke.
Oke, mungkin we continue yang untuk Kak Marisa dulu first. The donation of baby coral.
Bentar.
Oke.
Udah kelihatan belum?
Ya, udah.
Satu, dua, tiga, smile. Oke, next slide. Oke. Oke. Untuk yang satu lagi Kak Feli. Oke. Untuk Kak Angela. Satu, dua, tiga. Oke. Selesai.
Thank you so much. Sekarang kita foto bareng with all the audience. Mungkin teman-teman bisa open cam sekarang kalau udah ready gitu ya. Kapan lagi nih kita foto bareng sama Karifan, Kak Mulisa, dan Kak Angel. Udah pada ready, aku tunggu 10 detik gitu ya, counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, oke. Oh, oke, ada lagi. Oke, ya udah kita foto bareng aja ya. Start from Bella ya. Bella atau Kak Feli?
Ya udah,
Bella
Bel
ya.
aja nggak apa-apa.
Oke.
Oke, siap. 1, 2, 3, semangat. Oke, selesai.
Oke. Udah ya. 2 page udah ya, Bella.
Sudah, Kak. Langsung ke review.
Oke, good. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much, Kamu Risa, Karifan, Angelo, for your time. Um, Mungkin bisa lanjut untuk kegiatannya masing-masing. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Bye.
Ya,
Bye.
Thank
Makasih
you.
Kak Moriza, makasih
Makasih
Kak
ya.
Rifan, makasih Kak Angelo.
Oke, nah teman-teman, sekarang kita em, akan lanjut nih ke sesi 2. Tapi kita mungkin akan start di jam 12-an. So, it's your time to have toilet break gitu mungkin ya. Kita bisa mungkin ambil makan siang dulu, terus nanti balik lagi ke depan laptop. Tapi tidak perlu leave ke ruangan. Tapi kalau misalkan tertarik dengan breakout room uh, yang lain gitu, bisa juga open breakout roomnya memilih gitu. Nanti di sesi 2 ini kita akan mulai dengan tema All Roads Lead to Tech. How to start in tech without an IT degree. Penasaran sih sebenarnya, aku juga penasaran banget kayak gimana ya sekarang nih kita misalkan udah terlanjur uh, having no IT degree but want to jump to apa namanya uh, di industri tech gitu. Jadi what should I prepare or how's the condition, what can I prepare and everything gitu. Nah, nanti di sesi kedua ini kita juga ada sesuatu yang menarik karena ya ada surprise gitu ya, ada hadiah yang nanti kita bisa dikasih tahu lah ya di acara sesi kedua. Jadi maybe um, kita toilet break sampai 11.55 gitu kali ya. Sebelas lima kita akan mulai lagi ya teman-teman.